Hey guys, I want to welcome everybody to this episode of the RLM podcast. Obviously, I'm your host today. We will actually be having a little surprise for my co-host, but they'll be here in a little bit. Um, just to kind of go over what I really wanted to focus on for today, I've kind of been I kind of was thinking last night, literally last night. I just kind of thought about this. And you know how there are always there are brands, everyone there, there's a brand, right? There's um Nike, Adidas, Brooks, Timberland, Levi's. Like, they're all brands, they're all things that represent something, such as shoes, footwear, um clothing. They represent jeans or whatever. They all represent something, right? They all stand for something. But but what people don't always talk about is that we each have our own brands. Like, we have the ability every day to promote our own personal brand. And I'm not talking about like our own like line of makeup or whatever. I'm not talking about brands in that sense. I'm talking that we each have our own brands, such as each of us represent a brand. We represent ourselves, right? We represent something that is something that we enjoy, something that we stand for. When we go out into the world every day and we decide to be kind to someone, that is us sort of promoting our brand. We are doing something for the betterment of ourselves, right? And other people will see this and they'll be like, "Wow, that dude does some really nice stuff." And like I said, you shouldn't be a nice person because you want recognition for it. If that's what you're being a nice person for it, you might as well just not try at all to be a nice person, because that's unfair, right? But there are things that you can do because you want to other people to see you, right? You can go and people make posts, people go on Instagram, go on Snapchat, go on TikTok, and they spread the word of what they do. And yes, it is to get other people's attention to see, hey, I'm doing this, you can too, right? Or we all have the ability to do this, why not? So I believe that brands are so important to our world today because, you can open, Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you'll see, posts and ads and videos of just of people trying to get other people to pay attention to them, right? Just like, oh, watch me do this. Like, watch me do some things that you can't do, right? I mean, that's the whole point. It's to get other people to be interested. And that is not a bad thing. You want other people to be interested. You should want other people to be invested. But if you spend your whole life expecting that whatever you do, everyone will pay attention to, you're not going to be happy with what you're doing, because I feel it doesn't give you the same satisfaction when you do something simple and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you did something simple. You did something that you should be doing, right?" Where's the satisfaction come in that? I'd rather do something spectacular and not have anyone recognize it than to do something small and simple, such as just giving my friend a pencil and that everybody goes crazy about, because that's ridiculous. That's not the right way to live your life. Don't live your life like the whole world's watching. Yes, there are people who are watching, of course there are, but don't live your life because there are people watching. Maybe that's the important part. Don't live your life because there are people watching, but just know, yes, there are people watching. Yes, you gave that pencil to someone else, and yes, someone saw it, and someone's like, "Oh, cool, this dude's a nice guy. He gave a pencil to someone else." But don't give your pencil to someone else because someone's watching. That isn't cool. That's not fair. That's cheating, essentially. I believe that there are so many times when people lose themselves in life. They don't realize what they stand for anymore. And when that happens, I mean, you just kind of have to you have to withdraw a little from just all the craziness that's going on around you. When you lose yourself, if you lose yourself, you can't let yourself get stuck into a loop where you're trying everything to find yourself. You gotta kind of withdraw from everyone. Not leave everyone behind, but withdraw a little. Don't be so involved in everything that's going on. You don't need that. That you can have a little bit of rest time. Just take a little break, and just kind of be like, okay, take stock of the situation. What's going on here? Why is this happening the way it is? What's going on? When that happens, you just gotta clear your mind so that you can focus on it, and so that when it does come to you, you can see and be like, oh, that's what happened. Well, knowing that, I can maybe change a couple things and move forward. There is such a big difference between moving on and moving forward. Everyone, when you say you just got out of high school relationship, whatever. I'm just gonna use that because it's relevant. And everyone's like, "Oh, get over them. Oh, get over them." Right? Like that's move on, get over it. That's maybe in that certain situation, it might be a little easier to be like, okay, fine, I can move on, I can get over that. But if something traumatic happens to you, right, and someone tells you to move on and get over it, I mean, if it were me, I wouldn't be friends with that person anymore. I'd probably slap him in the face and leave dramatically. But moving on and moving forward, no, that's such a difference. Getting over something and dealing with something are two different things too. If someone tells you to get over it, that's basically them saying, I don't care that you're hurt. I don't care that you're hurting. I don't care that you feel this way. It doesn't mean anything to me. Get over it. I'm sick of hearing it. A person like that is not someone you want in your life. But if someone comes up to you and is like, "Hey, what do what's I know what's been going on, but I think it's time for you to move forward. I think it's time for you to find a good way that you can cope and deal with it." That's a whole lot different. It's a whole lot different. Because that's that person saying, "Hey, I recognize that you're hurt. I recognize that you're struggling, but I want to help you. I'm going to help you as much as I can to not to get over this, not to forget about it, but to forgive it and to move forward with your life." Because the more we stand still in our lives, the more we allow the things that hurt to drag us down, is the more we don't allow ourselves to live. If you're going to let everything that hurts you just bring you down to the dumps and just weigh you down, you are never going to be able to move forward in your life. There are so many times, and I've said this a lot, where there were a lot of years in my life that I spent so much time inside my own head, not allowing myself to really realize what was around me, that anything that felt remotely insulting or hurtful or whatever, I allowed myself to hold on to it for so long that it was impossible for me to get out of the circle, out of that, the loop that it causes. Because the more angry you get, the more irritative you are to your family, the more problems that caused. And I'm downplaying what happened severely. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but I allowed everything to trying to stop. I allowed the things that were put in my life to challenge me. I allowed them to stop me in my tracks, and that it broke me, and it really messed up a large part of my life. You can't allow these things to stop you in your tracks. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. The moment you realize that you've been stuck in the same spot, there's that means you're not doing something right. Something's not working, which is why you haven't been able to get out of this funk that you're in. If you realize that you're stuck, ask for help. Ask a friend, a parent, a brother, a sister. Ask a teacher. Ask someone. Go to a medical professional, a therapist, whatever. Ask someone to help you. You cannot do this journey that is life alone. It does not work it does not work like that. And I'm happy it doesn't. I am happy that God did not allow me to get through this life by myself. Everyone believes they know what it's going to be like once they enter the part of their life where they have to make those serious decisions. Everyone thinks going into it, "Oh, I know what it's going to be like. This is easy. I'm going to be able to do it so easily." Wrong. First thing you got to understand, it ain't going to be easy. You're going to have to make decisions that are going to hurt. But you got to make the decision not because you have to, but because you realize, look, if I want to get to the place that I want to get to, I got to put in a little effort. I got to do something to get there. This world is not just going to let you waltz into whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do. Sure, it's going to open avenues for you to get there, but it is not going to hand feed you every opportunity. You have to fight for it. Because if you're not willing to fight for what you love and what you want to do, then is there any possibility that maybe you just don't love it? Maybe you don't really want it. If you can't be willing to fight for it now, why do you think you're going to be able to do it later? That's not something that I just kind of figured out. That my mom told me that all the time. Eli, if you're not going to change now, there is no reason to assume you are going to change later. That is so powerful. So for all you people who are wondering where you go from here, wondering what do, you just have to take a step. In a great movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they say one Peter Parker says something that I think it's awesome. He says that's all it is. It's just a leap of faith. Call it a leap, call it a jump, whatever you want to. It's you putting your trust in God, in yourself, in your family, your friend, whatever you want to put your faith in, and you taking that leap, that jump, the walk, the step, whatever you want to call it, and you just move from point A to point B. Maybe in one step you can't get all the way from point A to point B. Maybe you can go from point A to point A and a half. From here to halfway, right? Maybe that's how far you have to look. Maybe you're like, hey, I don't know if I can get all the way. And that's okay. You don't have to know all the time. I can't possibly expect you to know. I don't always know. There are times where I'm like, I don't even know if I can do that much. But let me try and do this much. Right? And you just chip away. You start working. You start going. And maybe you get farther than you expected to. And when that happens, be proud of yourself. Don't allow yourself to be like, well, I got this far, I don't need to get any further. Allow yourself to be like, hey, I got farther than I ever thought I would. That says so much about me. I am stronger than I believed. Stop allowing yourself to fall back. Because if you fail, you cannot allow yourself to think, oh, well, I wasn't even good enough to do that much. I gotta fail. I'm just a failure. I'm gonna stop now. No. You are not. You cannot do that. You are not a failure. You cannot allow yourself to backslide like that. Because you're not that person. That is not who you are. That is not what you are. You are strong. You got this far. Farther than you ever imagined getting. If the moment your dreams seem a little hard to accomplish and you give up, that you are not doing something right. The moment that you fail, you need to sit there and be like, hey, I can learn something here. There is something to be gleaned from this, from these circumstances, from this, from what's happening. If you can allow yourself to get into the mindset that you're not good enough, that you are just a failure, if you can allow yourself to get in that mindset, it's going to be very hard for you ever to achieve what you wish to achieve. In every circumstance, go into it knowing you might fail. Knowing that. You got to just be like, hey, I might fail. And then next step is you got to be okay with it. I might fail, and I'm okay knowing that. I'm okay knowing that the things that I want, I might not necessarily get right away. It's going to take a long time. But even still, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to give it my all. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it everything I have. Everything I have. I'm not going to hold back. Not one bit. I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make sure that even if I fail, and I will at some point, that I learn from it. That I can get something beneficial from this. I have to believe, I truly do, that the strongest people in this world are the people who can fall down 1,000,000 times, fail 1,000,000 times, but every single time they get up, and every single time they get up, they're better for it. They're the strongest because they're the people that they realize, hey, I might lose a lot, but I'm going to learn something every time that I lose. So eventually I stop losing. And when I do lose, I'm not going to blame everybody else for it. I'm not going to blame my family, my friends. No, it's not their fault. Sometimes it's not even my fault for failing. We are going to be challenged in this life. We are going to be broken down till we have nothing left. And even then, we have to look at it like, hey, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn something. It is better to try 100 times, lose 99 times, and win once, than to win 100 times and learn nothing. If you can lose 99 times, learn from every single time you fail, every single time you lose, and you win once, I think you will be a stronger person than the person that wins 100 times and learns nothing. Because they're just doing the rinse and repeat. Rinse, repeat. They're just doing the same thing. They are not growing. They are not evolving as a person. They are staying the same, and therefore they will not grow. The people in this world who are not willing to grow, who are not willing to learn, who are not willing to teach themselves the new tricks, those are the people who will not succeed. They will not succeed to the extent that you can. The moment you allow yourself to learn is the moment the universe unlocks itself for you. If you can allow yourself to lose, if you can say, hey, I'm not afraid to lose. Every time you get up in the morning, every time you go to bed, when you get up, say, hey, I'm not afraid to lose today. When you go to bed, say, hey, I wasn't afraid to lose today. I lost a little bit, but I gained so much from that loss. Don't look at the world as trying to bring you down. No, it is trying to test you. It is trying to make you the greatest version that you can ever be. Yes, the world is a hard place. Not everyone is out to help you, but not everyone is out to get you either. There are people who want to help you, who want to be there for you. And if you never allow them to help you, to be there for you, you're never going to get farther. You're going to get stuck in the same old hole. You can't allow yourself to get bogged down and dragged to the ground by these feelings that, oh, I'm not good enough. You are good enough. You are good enough. If you can't possibly believe that, I don't know how you want me to make you believe that. You are good enough for this world. You are good enough for other people to love you. You are good enough to be a leader and lead your troops in the battle. You are good enough. I don't know who has told you that you aren't, but trust me, they were lying when they said that. You are one of the greatest people on this earth, but you aren't better than anybody else. You have to realize something. You are unique to yourself because there is only one of you. No one else can take away that authenticity that you have, that I am you, I am myself, right? You are good enough. No matter what anyone tells you, you are good enough. Remember that. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling hurt, when you're in pain, when you're crying on the floor and you don't know what to do, when it just feels like everything is just out to hurt you, to make you feel like you can't possibly be good enough for the world, you are. The people that need to find you will find you, and they will love you. All right? That's all you got. You can't let yourself believe the lies that go into your head. I don't ever want anyone to go through their life believing that they were not good enough for it. I don't want to die believing that, and I don't believe it. I know now I have allowed myself to learn that I am good enough. I am plenty good enough. Right now, I'm the greatest I've ever been. I am more content with my life than I've ever been than I've ever been. I love my family, my friends. I have people who will help me whenever I need them to, and I will do the same for them. I have a loving brother, sister, mom, dad. I have friends, best friends who I've known for years, who I can always count on. You have to allow yourself to accept it. Everything that is given to you, do not take it for granted, because as soon as it is given to you, it can be taken away so easily. in the past couple months, I've come to respect more than anything the sanctity of time. The fact that we are given limited time, and we're only given one life that we know of. So don't waste it. Live. Live every day. Because you don't have forever. You don't have 100 years that, more most likely, you have today. Instead of saying, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, no. Today's the day. Today's the day you're going to change the world. If you go into every day with that attitude, you will be a successful person. If you go into every day with that attitude of, I'm going to change the world today. I am going to make an impact. You will be so successful. You will be so happy with your life. Because every day you will do something and it will impact the world in such a positive way. I am no expert in life. I am no genie fairy tale who can guess everything that's going to happen. I can only give you advice based on what I have lived through. And I get it. Yeah, I'm a young kid. But I've lived through a lot. A lot of it was stuff I did to myself. I hurt myself so much. I didn't allow myself to grow. I allowed myself to be happy being stagnant and boring. Not happy. The moment I allowed myself to grow and to get outside my shell, I was so much happier. So much better. So please, do not ever allow yourself to fall back. Stay in this spot where you are happy. And just continue to go higher and higher and better forever. All right? I never want you to ever feel like you are alone in this world. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Today I'm really excited to be introducing a new face to the studio, Julia Spies. She's a good friend of mine, and she has agreed to being a temporary co-host until such time as Steven is gone. Julia, just introduce yourself to the people.
Hey guys, I'm Julia. Here in the high school that I go to, I'm involved in marching band, dance theater. I'm an advisor for Minithon, maybe something involved in musicals, stage crew. So yeah, I'm just really excited to be a part of this with Eli.
Awesome. And obviously we're going to be doing our best to keep our podcasting schedule to Tuesdays and Thursdays, so be sure to check us out. Obviously you can check out our other social profiles. We're on lots of different major streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. There are plenty others that I won't name every single one of them. But please feel free to check it out. I'm so excited to be able to start this new season with Julia by my side. And then obviously we have Cameron Cole doing some kind of behind the scenes little stuff. And obviously shout out to my man Steven. He's just got some school and family stuff he's got to catch up on, but we'll be excited when he comes back. All right, thank you everybody, and have a wonderful day.